How's it going, folks? I'm back once again to talk about the buddies of MGS5. Last time I covered D-Dog, so this time around I'll be looking into the other animal companion, D-Horse. D-Horse is available from the very beginning of the game. As soon as the world opens up and the player enters the literal sandbox of Afghanistan, D-Horse is there to be our trusty steed. I'll say right now, D-Horse isn't as nuanced as D-Dog, so there's not as much to discuss, really. However, simplicity doesn't necessarily mean our equine pal here is not as useful. On the contrary, D-Horse has his moments and can be effective against the most unlikely of opponents. So let's get started with D-Horse's mission capabilities. 1. His transportation abilities. Much like D-Dog, D-Horse's inclusion seems to be a response to the fundamental shift of how this game is played. Open worlds need to be easy, or at the very least engaging, to get around, and the massive maps of MGS5 necessitate modes of transportation. Good thing D-Horse's main contribution, then, is transportation. He is a horse, after all, but it's probably better to think of him as another vehicle, and quite possibly the best vehicle in the game, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, climbing on and off of D-Horse is the fastest transition from on foot to riding a vehicle. In fact, D-Horse can already be on the move while the animation of Snake climbing on plays out. It's the same for dismounting. Snake can tuck and roll off of D-Horse and resume any on-foot activities seamlessly. Jeeps and trucks don't share this advantage. The vehicle will be locked in place until Snake has finished turning the key and getting comfortable. Sticking to the topic of speediness, D-Horse's top speed is about equal to that of the fastest model of four-wheel drive, the Ape T41LV, which is, according to the mission sortie screen, the vehicle with the greatest top speed. D-Horse's acceleration is pretty good too. He can be spurred into a full gallop quickly, even while stationary. He can only handle one passenger besides Snake though, as opposed to a Jeep's four-man capacity. But his turning circle is the smallest of all modes of transportation, and he can even pull a quick 180-degree turn for quick getaways. And he's the only vehicle that can handle the arid terrain of northern Kabul, and by handle, I mean he doesn't get constantly hung up on rocks, hills, and ledges, at least not as often as conventional vehicles. D-Horse moves and flows over the terrain effortlessly. He can't jump over hedgehogs though. This kind of hedgehog, not this kind. D-Horse is not just about speed and movement though. While riding, Snake is still able to use items and, more importantly, weaponry. Usually, while driving a vehicle, only the night vision goggles can be equipped, so if you're spotted while driving a truck or jeep, you won't be able to react in time to stop an alert phase. You can't even use a sidearm. You just sit there, awkwardly. This is where D-Horse shines. Riding D-Horse lets you retaliate using whatever weaponry is available, as if Snake were on foot. Because of this, D-Horse is the buddy of choice when it comes to drive-by shootings, fast and direct insertion methods, or, with his special horse armor equipped and Snake manning a rocket launcher, he can become the game's most agile tank. In fact, it's this sort of equipment configuration that makes D-Horse the perfect buddy to take on armoured vehicles with. 2. His auxiliary abilities. Like I said before when talking about D-Dog, the animal buddies are considered low threat by enemies, so even if a patrol comes across D-Horse, all they'll do is shoo him off without raising an alarm. However, unlike D-Dog, D-Horse only has one specialised command open to the player. That command is defecate. Oh Kojima, don't you ever change, you magnificent psychopath. The poop can be used to neutralise four-wheel drives. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any effect on trucks or armoured vehicles. I mean, even soldiers don't even react to it. Look at this guy walking right through it. He doesn't care. Ew. At full gallop, D-Horse can stun guards and animals that he collides with, so that's a small consolation, I guess. While riding D-Horse, you can hang down one side of the saddle to conceal yourself. It works the same way duck walking works alongside running upright, so it essentially drops the enemy's perception range, However, because you're hanging down one side of D-Horse, you can also use him as mobile cover to slip past guards altogether. I've found you can get as close as up to 10 meters away from a guard before they see through the charade. Because of this, you can ride directly through an outpost without being detected at all. And that's it, really. I told you there wasn't a lot to D-Horse. His wardrobe is tiny too. He has his naked or default outfit. Then there's the armor, which is useful to have when under fire. It boosts his defense, just like D-Dog's battle dress. There's no downside to it either. I originally thought that his armor would slow him down slightly to compensate. But no, D-Horse travels just as fast when he's all armored up. And finally, there's the Furycorn outfit. At first, I thought this may have had the same properties as the Man on Fire's mount, so I was expecting to be trampling guards and killing them, rather than stunning them, or being able to ram vehicles off the road or something, but unfortunately it doesn't. It's just a cosmetic thing. Pity, really. 3. His weaknesses and drawbacks. Much like D-Dog, D-Horse is an animal buddy, so he's no use in a gunfight. In fact, you could consider him the pacifist out of all the buddies. Transportation is literally the only string to his bow. Snake will also stick out like a sore thumb while riding. The extra height doesn't exactly help concealment, so enlisting D-Horse as a stealth partner is like asking Kaz to juggle or dance. It's just not in his wheelhouse. God, is that what it's come to? Cracking jokes about cripples now. If a battle breaks out while riding and D-Horse takes too much damage, he can be easily toppled over, even when wearing his armour. It puts him out of action for a little while, and it throws a massive spanner into your would-be escape attempt. To conclude, it's easy to write off D-Horse as a useless buddy, especially when the other buddies start making an appearance. He can't mark or neutralise enemies, all he does really is transport the player, but his fantastic speed and handling makes him better than any other vehicle the game has to offer, especially when it comes to escaping over rough terrain. And that's important too, right? It's easy to forget that the exfiltration of a hot zone is just as crucial as the infiltration.